I've always been the kind of man who wakes up before the alarm. Not out of discipline, not out of virtue. I wake up early because my head won't rest. There's always something running in the back of my mind. A bill that doesn't add up, a problem I haven't solved yet, something I left for later. During that period of my life, waking up at 5:30 in the morning was almost an involuntary ritual. My own body warning me the day was going to be heavy before I even opened my eyes. That Tuesday, I got up, made coffee, and left her mug next to the coffee maker like I always did. It's a small detail, almost embarrassing to mention, but I had done it every single day for 7 years. I set her mug in the right position with the handle turned to the left because she's left-handed. 7 years of a handle turned to the left. She was still asleep when I left. The day was ordinary. A meeting in the morning, lunch at my desk, an annoying call in the afternoon with a client who wants results without wanting to pay for the work. I left the office at 6, stopped at the grocery store because we were running low on coffee. Ironic, right? Stopping to buy the coffee that I drank alone every morning at 5:30. And it was in that grocery store parking lot, engine still running, bags on the back seat, that my phone buzzed. The notification was from a mutual friend. She had tagged me in a comment. I knew before I even opened it that it wasn't going to be good. That kind of tag from that specific person at that time of day. Something told me I should brace myself, married a failure. The photo was of me. An old photo. From a trip we took together, actually. I was facing away from the camera, looking out at the horizon, and she had put a dark filter on it. One of those that makes everything look more dramatic, more cinematic. Like I said, she had put effort into it. Even for this, she had put effort into it. I sat there staring for 3 minutes. I know because I checked the time before and after. 2:37 p.m., 2:40 p.m. 3 minutes with the car's AC blowing on my face, reading and rereading 4 words. What got to me wasn't the cruelty. I already knew the cruelty. It had been building slowly, in small doses. In the tone of her voice when she talked to me in front of other people. In the way she dismissed ideas I brought up like they were obviously naive. I had cataloged the cruelty, without meaning to, over the years. What got to me was the audience. 42 likes in 18 minutes. Comments from women I had shaken hands with at backyard barbecues, who had eaten at my table, who had called me brother-in-law with a warm smile. You deserve better, girl. As if I didn't exist. As if the man in the photo were a character, a TV villain, and not someone who at that exact moment had 2 grocery bags on the back seat. One of them with the yogurt she liked, the one I had tossed in the cart out of habit without even thinking. I didn't call her. I didn't text her. I didn't go home and slam doors. I opened my banking app, pulled up the monthly statement, took a screenshot, no edits, no highlights, not a single word of explanation, posted it, and started the car. Let me tell you what was in that statement. I'm not going to talk numbers because numbers get old, and this story isn't about money. This story is about what money represents when someone chooses not to see it. There was the mortgage payment. The mortgage on the apartment I bought during the 11 months she was unemployed. She had quit her previous job because of a conflict with her manager. Something I understood, supported, and even defended to her family when it came up at Thanksgiving dinner. She had to get out of there. The environment was toxic. I said that. Me, the one paying for everything, said that to protect her image. There was the gym membership. Not a simple neighborhood gym. The one near the mall. The one with the Pilates studio included because she had back problems and her doctor had recommended low-impact exercise. I didn't question it. I signed up. There was the course, interior design, something she had always wanted to do, and I encouraged her because I loved seeing her excited about something. She went for 3 months, maybe 4. One day she simply stopped going. When I asked, she said the approach wasn't what she expected. The monthly charge kept coming out for 2 more months until I noticed and canceled it. There was the anniversary trip. That photo she used to humiliate me was from that trip. 4 days away, a nice hotel, dinner on the waterfront. I didn't tell her, but I put it on a payment plan. 12 months. Not because I didn't have the money, I did, more or less, but because I was holding onto a cushion for something I felt was coming. It came. Just not what I imagined. There was the weekly grocery run. There was the electricity bill. There was the HOA fee. There was her mom's birthday gift that she forgot to buy, and I rushed out on a Friday afternoon to get. There was the dinner I ordered on the night she said she was exhausted and couldn't cook. And I agreed, and ate my food watching her scroll on her phone while we sat in silence. None of that was written in the statement, of course. The statement only had numbers, but I knew what every number meant, and part of me needed at least one record to exist, somewhere, somehow, of what had been silently carried. The screenshot went viral before I got home. Not that I wanted that. I genuinely didn't. I'm not the kind of man who lives for social media. I posted it and drove away, like someone who tapes a note to the door and leaves. But someone shared it, someone commented, and suddenly there were people I had never met in my life weighing in on my marriage. She called at 8:14 p.m. I let it go to voicemail. She texted at 8:18 p.m. "You're pathetic." I read it, didn't reply, put my phone in the nightstand drawer and went to sleep. Or tried to. With that mug still sitting by the coffee maker, handle turned to the left. The next morning, she was the one who wasn't there anymore. The apartment felt bigger after she left. Not bigger in space. Bigger in silence. There's a difference. When you live with someone for years, even when the relationship is bad, there's background noise you don't even realize you depend on. The sound of her sandals down the hallway, the TV on in the bedroom while I read, the faucet running at 11 p.m. because she always needed a glass of water before bed. When that noise disappears, the silence doesn't feel like peace. It feels like absence. I spent the first few days waiting to feel relief. Everyone who was still in my corner told me I'd feel relief. Just wait. You'll see how much better things get. Maybe. But before the relief comes, something nobody warns you about. Grief. Even when the marriage was bad, even when you know the outcome was necessary, you mourn what could have been. You mourn the version of the couple you imagined in the beginning, back when everything still seemed possible. I cried. I'm not going to pretend I didn't. I cried on a Saturday afternoon alone in the kitchen. No particular reason, holding a cup of coffee that had gone cold. I cried because I thought about a road trip we had planned and never took. I cried because I went to pull the yogurt out of the fridge, hers, the one I had bought at that grocery store that Tuesday, and realized it was going to go bad. But in the middle of all that grief, one thing kept becoming clearer. I had lost myself, not all at once, not suddenly, gradually. I had been giving ground on small things that felt like kindness, and I had been abandoning things that were mine, my wants, my time, my voice, telling myself that silence was the same as peace. I confused loving someone with erasing myself. I confused taking care of someone with disappearing for them. And the worst part, I did it smiling. I did it buying yogurt out of habit, turning a mug handle to the left, putting a trip on a 12-month payment plan without telling anyone. I became invisible inside my own home. And when she needed a villain for the story she told her friends, I was right there. Nameless, back turned, dark filter on. I'm not saying I'm without fault. None of us are. But I know what I did and what I failed to do. I know what I carried in silence and what I should have said out loud a long time ago. The screenshot I posted wasn't an act of revenge. It was the first time, in a long time, that I let something speak for me. Final lesson, what I learned and what I'm telling you. If you made it this far, you probably recognized something in this story, maybe in yourself, maybe in someone you know. So let me be straight with you. Silence isn't a virtue when it becomes a survival habit. I stayed quiet for years thinking I was being the mature one, the adult in the relationship. But there came a point where silence stopped being a choice and turned into fear. Fear of conflict, fear of looking weak, fear that if I said what I actually felt, it would confirm that things were as bad as they seemed. Speak up, even if your voice shakes, even if it doesn't come out perfectly. Taking care of someone can never cost you who you are. There's a massive difference between loving someone and dissolving into them. I mixed up those two things for way too long. I paid bills, held back opinions, gave up plans, and kept shrinking while thinking I was being the bigger person. Generosity that erases you isn't love. It's fear dressed up as devotion. Social media isn't the problem, but it reveals what was already there. Her post didn't break our marriage. The marriage was already broken. What the post did was strip away the last layer of denial I was still holding on to. Sometimes the public humiliation you fear the most is also the mirror you needed the most. You don't have to defend yourself to everyone, but you do have to defend yourself. I didn't write a long thread. I didn't go into the comments and argue. I posted a statement and drove away. I'm not saying that's the right move for everyone. I'm saying the act of standing up for myself was what mattered, not how loud I did it. Sometimes the most powerful response is the most understated one. Grieving a bad relationship is real and it deserves respect. You can know it was the right decision and still hurt. You can feel relieved and still feel the loss. Those things don't cancel each other out. Don't skip that stage thinking that because the relationship was painful, you have no right to mourn what you lost. You do. Cry it out. Just don't live there. I still wake up early. Still make coffee at 5:30 in the morning. But the mug now sits with the handle pointed in whatever direction it lands. Because it's only mine and I can. Sometimes that's where freedom starts. In the smallest details.